I'm on the phone right here, so.
All right, let me know.
I don't see the live stream yet.
Yeah, I think we should be live now. You see it?
In order for us to see it, you have to write it out. IT.
Yo, Marvin is like, yo, hold on. All jokes aside, man. Marvin, you see it?
Now we're live. You can see it on your phone.
I don't see it.
It's on your phone. It says live on YouTube. Probably have to sign in and go back, come out and go back in.
Hey, Marvin, you don't see it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, let me see.
Hold on. It says live on YouTube from what I'm seeing.
You see it, Dell?
I'm about to sign in and find out. But from the phone, it says live. Yeah, I see it.
Hey,
Yeah,
Marvin, I'm gonna kick your butt, Marvin.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. Well, run it real quick and see if Savon can hear it.
All right,
Because I don't see it.
All right, so I'm gonna run the video real quick. Let me see. Let me know if you hear it.
Yeah.
You hear now?
Yes.
Good. Okay, we're good then.
All right, I got it on there now.
Guys, I'll let you guys run the show. Oh, you know what? Let me stop the share real quick.
No, we are gonna run the show. What you mean, let us?
Hold on. Something just happened.
What?
I lost track of my screen. Where is it?
Well, you were ready. Should have just played it and just
Oh,
stop.
I see. No, my bad. Hold on. Oh, you want me to play the commercial?
Yeah, start us off.
All right, no problem. Hold on.
Play like 2 commercials.
No.
Yo.
What happened?
I just put my earbuds in. So that way my wife can do what she gotta do.
I think I'm sharing the wrong screen right now. Hold on.
Yeah,
Oh,
right
that's
now,
what happened.
I'm not
Hold
looking at it.
on. It went to the wrong one. My bad.
Make sure you join our conversation in the YouTube live, Rod.
There we go. Yeah, I'm still frozen. I'm still looking down somewhere else.
We ain't got no audience.
Oh.
They're both weird.
Hold on, I just gotta move some screens over. I got too many interruptions. Too many interruptions.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Okay, there it is. All right, hold on. I had too many interruptions. Hold on one second. I should have left it where it was. Okay, that's what happened. Okay. Let me know if you hear it.
I don't hear anything.
Nope.
Why is it doing that?
Not only do I not hear anything, but I don't see anything on the live either.
Think your phone's slow, Marv. I see everything.
Well, if anybody joined us, we're just testing something real quick. Why is it? Okay, let me see. Okay, is this what? Hold on one second. Let me see. Well, I just gotta move some stuff over real quick. Hold on. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, I got it. Because I moved it to a different screen, if it kept them like connected to another screen. Can you hear it now?
No.
No.
But you heard it before.
The first time you ran it, it played, but I don't hear anything now.
All right, hold on. What about now?
There we
Yeah.
go. Oh,
Is it clear?
Yep.
low.
Huh?
It's low. I don't hear anything right now, Rod. I think that's how you're gonna have to run it. You just have to run it with your speaker.
Wow, because you said one time you heard it clear, so that's weird.
But right now, it's that's the only sound I'm getting.
Hold on, let me put it over here because the last time you said you heard it. Let me try to, all right, let me see. Okay, what about now?
Nothing.
That's freaking weird. Do you hear Savant, what Savant is saying in the commercial?
Very low.
All right, well, let's just start the show. I guess we won't know commercials today. I'll probably just run Jacoby's commercials.
You just run it with your speaker, with your sound. Can you run it with your sound?
Yeah, well, you said it's very low though.
Yeah, but if you had it set up at one point where it was you could hear it.
What about now?
Still low. Can you move it closer?
What about now?
Just leave it like that, Rod.
All right.
Ocean Columbus Heights, the overway from home. A private hillside condo overlooking the beautiful bay and city view. A two-bedroom furnished apartment with kitchen, living room, and private balcony. Included are great amenities such as a pool, gym, Wi-Fi, and household essentials. The area. Take a few minutes drive to the famous Russell Mall. Visit the beach at the bottom of the hill and experience the casual and fine dining of Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville restaurant. Take the time and read the Boulevard testimonials at the bottom of our work with us. Thank you, everyone. Supported, found, and played.
Left hand. Where's my Kiai, Kaden? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I want to hear a lot of Kiai, Xavier. She. Oh. I'm gonna call you loud. You. Yeah, man. Hey. Hey, notice.
Make it in business, you need that support system.
All right, guys. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
I
You were
can hear
playing
you.
a commercial. You stopped it. What happened?
No, you said two, so I stopped it at two.
You funny. You might as well
Hey.
have just played the third commercial, bro. You started it.
No, hey, hey, when people come on, we gotta keep it, keep the routine. Two commercials.
Oh, we got people on?
Well, eventually, now or in the future.
I hear you.
How you doing, Marvin? Thank you for
Keep it
joining us.
consistent. Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Well,
So tonight, go ahead, Marlon. Go ahead, Savon.
yeah, I was gonna say tonight's topic, we decided that it should be on communication. Is that what you were gonna say?
Yes, sir. But
All right. Elaborate.
Well, when it comes to business, relationships, even work, communication is key. A lot of times, there's a lot of miscommunication when people don't speak up, don't share their thoughts, or whatever might be going on or going wrong. It goes from bad to worse. So I think that's why we chose this subject, because with every company, there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, even relationships, communication is definitely very important. I've been in management, I've been partners with business partners, I've been in relationships. We all have, and I think it's very important that we share our, experiences and how important it is that, you communicate how you feel about certain things instead of just ignoring it. And then next thing you know goes, somebody has certain feelings that they're not sharing. Earlier, when you said you wanted to do communication, what I thought about was over the years, from bands, splitting up, partnerships worth billions of dollars, splitting up because of things that they did not share, or misunderstanding. When you don't communicate, how you feel or what's really going on, or holding back on certain things, things end up going sideways and not the way people don't want it to go. So that's my thought about it.
Okay.
Why
Mark, you
why
want
am I
to
only seeing
elaborate on that?
myself? Why am I only seeing myself? I'm like the only person out here. I don't see
I,
Savon. I don't see
I'm,
Rod. I mean,
I'm right there, bro. Feel
Rod, where
better?
you at? Where you
Feel
at?
better, Mark?
Hey Marvin, remember that Michael Jackson song? You're not alone. We're here with you, bro.
Nah, I definitely communication is definitely it's a great topic. I think just like you said, Rod, many a relationship has dissolved as a result of lack of communication. But I think the other piece of it is point of view, right? And I think sometimes we tend to look at things from our own particular lens, our own point of view, without necessarily being able to see the other person's perspective, right? So um, you may say something to me, and I may take it a certain way, um, because of how I received it, right? So there's the actual message, and then there's the way that the message has been received or perceived, which I think also has an impact on how effectively we communicate. I try to measure my words very carefully when I speak because words do have power. So I definitely think this is a good topic to discuss.
Yeah, definitely, Marv. I like the way you put that. And, you know, from my point of view, when it comes to communication, I think words, are the most powerful, one of the most powerful tools that we have, you know, when we're here on earth. To be able to choose our words wisely is important when you're communicating, with people, or with anyone. Sometimes we say, what we think is right when sometimes we actually need to just choose our word, you know, wisely, because what we say may not be the way to say it. And, it's like speech, in school, remember speech, you had to take speech class, all of that stuff helps with, articulating, to someone else, and that stuff is very important, how you speak to someone, and then on the other end, somebody may be spoken to in a way that they don't like. And sometimes they don't react um, in a positive way as well. Like two wrongs don't make a right. So if someone says something to me that maybe I don't like it, I'm not going to easily react in the wrong way, so because words are powerful and how we perceive them is important, you know and also perfection. We're not perfect, so the fact that a lot of us can say the wrong things, I don't think a lot of times it warrants for the other person to say the wrong thing as well. If I say something wrong, I don't think the other person is supposed to say something wrong as well.
Well, I also think it's the flavor and how it's said, right? Because I can say something, and the way I say it, the tone, right, the diction, whatever's in my voice, can spark something in you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I can say, like sit down, right? You might sit down. I'll be like, sit down, and you be like, yo, who you talking to? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So like the same thing, you know, just said in two different ways, two different tones has a different feel. And I think sometimes, because we're human, we might say things. I might say things in a frustrated way. So, but because of how I said it, um, you as the receiving person may not be able to receive that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I think that's what happens a lot of times with communication is a lot of times good things are being said. However, the flavor in which it's being presented is not one that's very tasteful.
Yeah.
Doesn't sit well on the palate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's like choose your words, you know, and education
Doesn't
is
sit well
key.
on the palate.
Yeah, education is key. So when you're addressing someone, you want to definitely address them in a manner that you don't think they're going to react in the wrong way. And then again, Marv, some people have a way of reacting, even when you say something nice or chose your words correctly. Some people still don't react, the right way. So what do you say to that?
Well, and I was gonna deflect it to Rod as a person that works in management, because you have to learn how to converse with people from various backgrounds or that perceive things differently, right? So
Mhm.
you can't interact with two people the same way, right? Like you take us three here in the room. I might interact with you, Savon, one way. I might interact with you, Rod, another way, right? And then like the dynamic between all three of us is going to be slightly different in terms of I might say something, you might respond. If I say something to Rod, Rod might get offended because we don't have that same relationship as if I tell you, Savon, something specific. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Rod wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying because you know what I'm saying, just as an example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. When you said management, it reminded me of a situation that happened between a customer and an employee. I was a supervisor at the time, and I was my 20s too, and there was a conflict between a customer and an employee. So I don't know if it was something to do with the pricing or the advertising, and the customer was just was not satisfied with whatever the employee did, and we had a meeting between us and the employee and everything. We tried to understand what happened, because the customer filed a complaint, and we went over everything. And then when the employee left, we did our research, and we came, our conclusion was that the customer was wrong. So I was like, okay, so me being young, I was like, all right, so I go tell the employee, you were right, just thinking you're just gonna resolve the situation. You want to make the person feel good, you were right, it was nothing big, no, nothing bad was said, but the manager stopped me, and I'm like, what was going on? He's like, well, you don't have to let the employee know. I was like, excuse me? So I was like 24, 25. It was like one of the first time we kind of like see how the upper management kind of like look at like, the employees. I'm thinking, think about it. I'm thinking we got to communicate with the employee to let them know they did a good job. They handled the situation pretty good, this and that. But in a funny way, because the company I was working for, they always told the customer's always right. They kind of kept the employee out of the loop, and they didn't let the employee know, that the employee was right. And for all my life, I always remember that story because it kind of showed me like a lot of times, not everything is communicated with everybody. Even though you're right, they don't let you know when you're right.
What does that do for the overall morale of that person?
That's what, me being young at the time and being very surprised, it kind of opened my eyes to how organizations or corporations are ran, because a lot of times when we go to work or whoever we work for or dealing with certain people or relationships, when they hold things from you, it kind of makes you feel some type of way, because I knew the employee felt some type of way because they knew that employee knew was he or she, I forgot, was right. And I felt, like they should have, been told they were right or he or she was right. But it kind of opened my eyes, when you hold out information, people are going to feel some type of way.
Right. And so what's the fallout as a result of that, right? So when we think about that, right? So that employee um was not praised or was not told that you know what, you're correct in what how you dealt with that. So now what's the motivation going forward to to relay the information accurately, to put your best foot forward, right? So this is the same thing that happens, in terms of overall communication, right? When we don't feel like we're heard, what happens? We become closed down. We don't want to talk about it, and then things fester up and continue to build, and then resentment builds and animosity builds, and all of this stuff boils over.
Mm-hmm. No, very true. And I really wanted that employee to feel good. Hey, the information that you had, you did your job properly, but I was not, didn't allow me to, share that information. it kind of like, you know, made me realize the you know, how it's kind of like what's that quote, not knowledge is power.
Right.
So they kind of held that, you know, knowledge and information from that employee, you know. And over the years, you know, working behind the scenes, you know, it kind of taught me a lot, you know. So that was definitely an eye-opening experience, you know, me being like 20, 22 or 24, 25 at the time. So
Right. Right. I think another piece of this is really identifying what's the best way to communicate, because like you were saying earlier, not everybody receives information the same way, or not everybody has the same communication style. Some people
mhm.
like to be directed more. So, or some people, like if you take our dynamics, right? I think because we were talking a little bit behind the scenes, how, how Savon is more like get it done type of, and me and Ed may be a little bit more laid back in terms of our approach on how we do things. So I think understanding how to communicate with people, um, different personalities, definitely is important.
Oh no, yeah, that is very true. And a lot of times, you know, different personalities, you know, kind of help out the partnership. You know how they say opposites attract. You know, how some people like, you know, I'm Haitian and I might be more attracted. It's a funny joke, you know, some of my friends have. I might be more attracted to like a female from like down south because of the southern accent. I might be more attracted to a female from the Caribbean that speak patois. You know, is different from Creole. So having different, our partnership is like Dell is a little bit different from me. I'm a little bit different from we're definitely different from Ed. Ed is more like, quiet. He doesn't say
Right.
much. So we bring different things to the table, different skill sets. So, oh yeah, I was gonna say Ed is not here right now. You know, Ed says hi, and I'm kind of running the show. So
Hmm.
I want to make, we want to make Ed proud. You know, he's not here right now. So, and Ed, we miss you, man. So,
Yes, sir.
Well, Ed's taking a little break. He deserves it.
hmm
Yes, sir. Um, yeah, so I'm listening to both of you guys and what you're saying. Um, I wanted to you mentioned, Rod, about, the customer, being right. And when it comes to companies saying that the customers are always right, you know, let's just, what do you think? What are your thoughts on why, companies always say that the customers are right? What are your thoughts on that?
well, at the time being, in management and over the years going through training, you want to you want to make the customer feel important. And when it comes inside your establishment, that they're the number one, concern. The second they're walking through that door, that's why they always say, you want to greet the customer with a smile. And many times, you notice with a lot of small companies, um, you notice, people that, probably didn't go to school on business school, they don't understand that. You go to their establishment, they don't really smile. They just treat certain people like in a certain way. People are like, whoa, I'm giving my money to these people all the time. They don't treat me good. So the company that I was with, they push that on us like almost every morning. I know for a fact every week. The customer is always right. You want to make the customer feel special because they will spend more. The better they feel like, you care about, why they came into your establishment. So,
Mhm.
so even though they could be wrong, I've seen it hundreds of times. The customer's wrong. They find some kind of way, some kind of keyword to make the customer feel, even though they're wrong, well, you're right. We'll take care of it. So,
You know, it,
something. Mhm.
I was gonna say it's really interesting because in my business, um, I don't I don't take the role of the customer is always right, because my business is a particular service that I provide, right? And so with that service, I am providing discipline. I'm providing structure, and I'm doing it in a manner that I dictate. So with the martial arts, if you allow, like, and with a lot of other things, like, dance schools, certain types of things, even with coaching, right? if you allow the parents to dictate, if you come in with a customer is right attitude, then you lose power in your program. So you can't always um, take that approach. But what I do is I do believe in having open communication and open dialogue. So I'm very, transparent with my parents, with my clients and customers. But I have a way that I have to operate my business, and it has to go along that path. Because if I deviate for one person, then all of a sudden the effectiveness of what I'm doing is impacted. So, and I'm sure Savant can also relate to that, um, especially me being somebody that I wasn't taught how to run a studio, had to be very firm and go about it as in a very distinct way. And I've experienced, not at my studio, but other people, my colleagues, tell me how, because they allowed parental influence into what they were doing, it impacted their overall product.
Yeah, Marv, I could definitely relate to that. People come to us, for guidance. A lot of times when you are using sports to keep your child busy, you're looking to a coach or an organization to be able to help that child, with their communication and to keep them busy. So a lot of times parents, they come to us for answers, even though they're coming to us for sports. For you, it's karate. And I'm sure you've had parents that came to you and they're literally looking for you to teach their kid more than just karate. And as you know, karate, it's more than just karate that you're teaching anyway. It's based off of, the overall child that you're working with. You want that child to be well-rounded. For me, it's basketball. So when a kid comes to me, or a parent bring their kid to me, I know they want them to play basketball, but they're literally talking to me on the sideline when I'm not working with that kid, about getting that kid to certain levels off the court that they feel like that kid is struggling with. And a lot of times it's communications that come up. They may not listen to the parent at home the way the parent would like them to listen. So they bring that child to an organization, a sports organization, to teach that child how to be disciplined, when your parent is trying to be there for you. So as coaches and instructors and business owners, we have our hands full, but it's fun. From my standpoint, it's fun to be able to work with kids and their parents and not get this, like some businesses do, like you mentioned, the customers are always right. For us, our parents are our customers. And like you said, it's the other way around. It's not the fact that they're always right. They're coming to us for answers. And it's not the fact that we're always right. We're just better at this because, we've done, this type of work, and we know what the child needs, from a sports standpoint, that's going to help them to be able to communicate better in life.
Evan chimed in on YouTube. He had a couple of comments here. He said the customer is empowered, but you should always maintain a level of integrity and a code of conduct with your business. And then he also said, if you establish the rules of engagement with your customers, you can deal with unruly customers more effectively, which is absolutely correct.
Yep, I agree also.
Yeah, thank you, Evan, for, coming and joining us. You're not at home right now, and you're out there communicating. And we appreciate you, man, and those kind words that you have there is very powerful, man. So keep it coming. Keep it coming, man. Appreciate you.
It would be good to have Evan on here to talk about communication, because he's another person that communicates with people on a regular basis. But we can deal with his comments. Keep the comments coming. And anybody else out there in YouTube land, if you have any comments, if you want to add to the discussion, this is an open discussion, so you know we definitely open to hearing comments and discussing them.
And that's the important thing, Marv, is the fact that Evan is out there doing this. That's what we want, you know. So on our platform here, like you just mentioned, it would be a great thing to see our audience communicate, you know, from the YouTube chat, you know, because they're each seeing each other's answers, and there's great, that's a form of communication as well. We're here talking about communication, and that's a great form of communication, bringing people together and hearing their point of views.
Definitely. Do you guys feel when companies communicate less, or you know, let's say your relationship, you know, your wife, girlfriend, you know, vice versa, do you feel like the less they share with you, like is it like a form of them trying to be manipulative or trying to have more control? Or because I feel like that's why certain companies, you know, shared, you know, the less they share, the more, you know, power or control that they have over their employees. Because I was in that position, you know, where, you know, certain things were not, you know, were left out of the loop. I mean, were left out the loop, you know, with employees and stuff like that.
I personally think there's two schools of thought, right? Like sometimes, depending on the business, sometimes you don't necessarily need to have the employee knowing what's going on an executive level. However, like what I do now, like during my daytime, I work as a social worker, and I work for a nonprofit company, right? But you know, they have to be. We want them to be transparent with what's going on, because there's a lot of Medicaid dollars. There's a lot of, you know, things that are going on all the time behind the scenes. Things are constantly changing, and if you don't keep your employees abreast of what's going on, then what's going to happen? They're going to become disgruntled. They're going to start thinking something's going on. You know, then you lead to high turnover. You know, so you know it's a catch-22. But I do believe that being transparent, being open, being available, and communicating effectively is definitely important.
And another story that I had with communication, we had an employee. You know, he's been in, you know, we had issues with him calling out, this and that, not showing up to work, this and that. And my manager, I was young. Those were my young days. I was 25, 20, you know, at 24. And you know, I moved up the ladder pretty quick. And I was the youngest supervisor in the whole in the company. And they used to try to force me to write that person up. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I was young, you know, I probably should have done it. But because I knew that person, I was like, let me talk to him. Because I did tell him, like, yo, dude, you guys, you know, you gotta stop, you know, calling out. You gotta, you know, come work on time. And the funny thing was, I was 25. This dude was in his 40s, and I kind of knew what was going on with him. But you know, stayed in my lane. But I finally sat down with him. I had the you know, the write-up sheet in front of me, and I was like, yo, dude, I'm supposed to be writing you up, but I know you better than this. I communicated with him, you know, what was going on. I didn't tell him everything, but I told him enough. Like, hey, you do it like one more time, I'm gonna have to do it. And from then on, we never had a problem with him ever again, because I felt like we did not need to, like, you know, have a write-up. Let me just verbally, you know, communicate with him and bring him to the office, show him how serious it is. Before I was just like, hey, dude, you need to, you know, stop it. You know, I didn't take it that serious. But then when it got really bad, I was like, I just sat down, you know, looked at him, you know, eye to eye, man to man, like, hey, dude, you know, any more of this, you know, we're gonna have to write you up, and you might actually get terminated. And everything changed from there, because I was young. I was like, oh, there's no need to write this person up. All I needed to do was communicate with him what was going on.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's a tough job, man. Communication, man. You know, I mean, we just came into this world, man. We come into this world, and we have to learn a lot of things, you know, and education is obviously the key, you know, to communication. Just getting up every day and reading, you know, reading is so important in our lives, you know. And a lot of times, let's just say as a kid growing up, I didn't like to read. That's just something that I didn't like. And it didn't just come upon me that I didn't like to read. There's reasons why why some people don't like to read, but once I started mingling with people and I realized that education is key, and they give you these books and say, read this book because it'll help you to communicate better, then I started, reading a little bit more. I don't even know if you guys ever noticed, or probably you don't, because I don't read much. Or sometimes when I'm looking at the computer, I'm always squinting. So growing up, I used to have this little issue where when I'm reading for a very long time, my eyes begin to water. And I recognized that was because I didn't like to read. So me staying and focusing on reading, it was like pain. It was like painful. Like, I don't want to read this, but again, the more and more you play sport and you're looked to for leadership, or you are looked to be part of a team, and you may have to address certain things sometimes. If you're asked a question, you have to be able to communicate your answer. If you're in a classroom, you have to be able to communicate your answer. Sometimes, a person may not want to raise their hand because maybe they're afraid of communicating, because they're afraid of what another person may say to what they're asking, but it's all about confidence. So the more and more you read and the more and more you learn things, the more and more you have confidence, so I was able to overcome reading more and getting more confidence, and then my eyes began to not water as much. But then I also recognized that in order for it to completely stop watering, I had to read a lot of times, so, and then when I stopped reading, that same problem came back again because I stopped it.
Man, you needed glasses.
Well, I never, no, I
You don't
never
want to admit
needed
to that,
glasses.
bro.
To be honest, my eyes, they always seem like I need glasses, but for whatever reason, I'm always blinking or always look like I gotta adjust my eyes to something to even read it. But at the end of the day, for whatever reason, when I go to the doctor, they tell me I got 20/20. So that's kind of crazy.
Wow.
So Evan had commented a couple of things. So I just wanted to make sure we're still picking up whoever's commenting on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So he responded to Rod. He said, Rod, you connected with that young man on a personal level. And then he also said, too many times people are viewed as numbers and not as a person with family issues, etc. So
Very true.
very, very valid point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When I told the manager I did not want to write the guy up, it's almost like they were going to write me up for not writing him up. For being this subordinate,
Right.
whatever you call it. And and like I said, I knew something was going on. I didn't share it with management. That was his personal business. But that's why I kind of like, I was on the fence. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to write this guy up, man. Let me just talk to him, one on one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Marv, you could relate to this, I'm sure. Well, you could speak on it after I speak on it, and let me know how how kids have affected you, through the help that you provide them. I know for me, I would say a lot of my players, whether boys or girls, are men and women, but just speaking from a children's standpoint, I know a lot of them believe in me as a person, as a coach, as a mentor, and just as a human being. And a lot of the reasons why is because I'm a very positive person. I never try to be negative with kids. And if I'm negative, I usually take them behind closed doors and tell them what I need from them. I'm a motivator, and I find that that's a great form of communication. whenever you're in public is to not embarrass a kid or embarrass anyone. So I'm a confidence builder. So when a player is playing for me and they're having a bad game, I'm usually the one that will tell them, hey, you could do it. And there's plenty of times you're having a bad game and the opponent is taught to attack you because you're having a bad game. So I may take that player out and tell that player, hey, even though you're having a bad game, just remember that the game is not over, you know? So I would always put the kid back in the game and say, hey, go out there. Remember, I always have your back. Remember who you're playing for. You're playing for a motivator, and once you tell that kid that, that kid goes out there and that kid works hard, So I always try to reach players that way to build their confidence. And I do believe that that's a form of communication as well as great motivation.
Great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And Marvin, you
Uh,
want to read that again?
Oh, it looked like you was about to do it, Rod. You got it.
No, I was just responding, and I looked up, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll let Marvin do it. Go ahead.
So Evan chimed in again. He said he was listening to an entrepreneur try to figure out why one of his best employees put in his resignation. So he asked the guy, and the guy responded saying he never heard a thank you or a great job for anything. A simple gesture would have kept one of his best employees. And then he went on to say this entrepreneur now freely admits that he should have done that and does it, and it makes it a point to recognize his employees.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very profound. Sometimes just not feeling like you're heard, not feeling like you're appreciated, does a number. And I think that impacts even personal relationships. Sometimes just, whether it's a spouse or a friend, just to be like, hey, listen, I appreciate you, or I love you, or whatever. Like what you did was awesome. Like sometimes we take things for granted. I know I do that on a lot of times without even thinking about it. Sometimes I might do something and be like, oh man, I didn't even say thank you. Like to be honest, I asked Evan the other day to look up something for me to do something for me, and he came through. And you know what? I don't even think I said thank you, so I'm saying it now, Evan. Thank you so much for. I really appreciate
That's
the fact
funny.
that I asked you to do something, and without the drop of without even giving it a second thought, you got on there and you just kind of made some things happen. And it's funny because he shot me, like, I didn't even respond, and he shot me a text like, "Hey, did you get the email?" And I'm like, "Oh, like I didn't even say thank you or anything." You know what I'm saying? So again, it's I received it and I was appreciative of it, but did I tell him? You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like he's not offended, but again, that gesture of just saying, "Oh, yo, I got that. Good looking out. I appreciate it." you know, makes a difference, right? So the next time I ask him for something, he's not gonna be as willing to do that because it's like, yo, like I did that for you and you just like blew it off like it wasn't even important. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
so it's again it's about that we were talking about earlier, right? That perception, right? I received it and I was appreciative of it, but that didn't get conveyed to the other party. So how does he know that I received it? He doesn't even know if I looked at it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Let me continue by saying, Evan, this show proves to you it was needed because it made Marvin, thank you, communicate
Mhm.
in the proper way to thank you. So it shows, what we're doing is very positive.
And
But
and it
mhm.
also shows that next time he asks you to do something, you're gonna definitely do it now because you just heard the thank you.
nah. But also with communication, I think effective communication also ties in with emotional maturity, right? Because you have to have a certain level of maturity um, to hear something that you may not want to hear, you know, because sometimes communication requires having uncomfortable conversations and being able to hear things constructively. Yo, Evan's bugging out. You got Marv pouring his heart out. But yo, I think that's very, very important. And I think a lot of times that's what breaks down communication. When you're not mature enough to receive information or to, to give it in an effective way, right? When we become emotional, right? So that's a sign of immaturity, right? I say something, yo, Dale, when you went out there with them leopard print pants, yo, that was like not professional. And then you jump back at me and you like, yo, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that definitely plays a part.
Yeah.
Let me continue on by giving Mr. Savon Smith some props. Somebody reached out to me the other day. I had posted Jacoby's video on my IG, and he was like, "Who's that kid?" I was like, "Oh, that's my business partner's one of the youth, that he helped raise, and he taught him, how to play basketball since he was a little kid." He's like, "Wow, that's pretty dope." He just like reached out to me out the blue. He almost never say anything about my video. He's like, "Oh my God, what's up with that kid?" So it made me, and from what Savon was saying, and I know that Savon has a relationship with the parents, great relationship. You would think like, Jacoby's dad was his like a cousin or family or something like that. And then come to find out, that's the parent of one of the youth from his foundation. So I'm very, that shows me that Savon, does communicate and share, because I've been there, at some of the events with founding players. I've been part of it for, founding players a year now. And founding players been around for like 10 years now, Savon? 10, 11 years?
10 years? No, Savon's Academy, I mean. You're talking about Savon's Academy. Founding Player's been around since 2017. So you're talking
Well,
about
altogether, is it 10, 11, right?
well, 11 altogether with
Yeah,
Savon's
that's what I meant.
Academy. Savon's
Okay.
Academy. Yeah.
Hey,
Founding
Marvin, I
Players is
tried to add
3.
both of them together. I
No.
just did the math. Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh,
So
well,
sorry about that.
if you add them all together, it'll be 12 years.
Okay.
So I started Founding Players in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't do anything with it. I started it to get it out the way, to know that I established it, even though I knew that I wasn't going to begin the process until, as a matter of fact, this is funny, but it's fitting and it's unfortunate at the same time. Because when I started Founding Players in 2020, I understood my motto, developing winners on and off the basketball court for Savon's Academy. So the Founding Players, I gave them the credit in helping me have that start for Savon's Academy. So I put Founding Player in place in 2017. Then I said, you know what? What is the plan for Founding Players? I said, okay, got to teach financial literacy, managing your money, invest in it, and just buying homes and, life insurance. And I thought about those things. And I said, what is your vision? And when I said, what is your vision? I thought of the year 2020. And then I remember myself being with 2020 vision. And then I said, oh, wow, that's fitting. 2020 vision. So I set out a 3-year plan for 2020 for Founding Players. And we did it earlier. So I didn't plan to do anything with Founding Players until 2020. So when I was traveling back and forth to Jamaica, it just happened to be, it fell into place. Was able to meet you through Ed, and it sped up the process because I was not going to do anything until now, but I had a 2020 vision.
Mm-hmm.
So Founding Players was supposed to be in business, real business in 2020, because I thought it was a smart business plan to map out everything while the guys were in college. And I thought this would be the perfect year, to jump in there and push out Founding Players. So it was a plan. But again, everything happens sooner than later. And things happen for a reason a lot of times, because now look at it, 2020, it's not the greatest year for a lot of people, you know, because that 2020 vision that I had, I did not envision COVID-19, you know. So when you look at that though, and it put a wrench in the plans, but did it, because at the end of the day, I started the organization sooner. And we accomplished having a home in Jamaica sooner than the 2020 year. And now we're in the midst of COVID-19, and we're on this platform right now speaking on communication. And we might even have to add development to that as well, because we were able to develop founding players sooner. We were able to communicate about this and make things happen through founding players, you know. So it's just amazing that even though COVID put a wrench in 2020, it didn't put a wrench in our plans, and it didn't put a wrench in my plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
and that's kind of funny, you know. But man, kudos to how this process went. Kudos to that.
okay, but let me do a commercial real quick. So we'll be right back. Continue this conversation.
Yes, sir. Marv, that's kind of weird, but funny, man, and sweet at the same time, man.
We're very proud of you, definitely, man.
No, I'm just thinking about it, man. It's kind of, wow, 2020 vision. Nice commercial.
Where the commercial at?
Is it a play?
The right people are.
Oh, hold on. I got it playing. I didn't even, sorry about that.
No volume.
You're doing.
I got it
And
playing.
you
I didn't even
also
sorry
need
about
to
that.
believe in yourself. In everything that you do, you have to believe in yourself. And you have to be able to, you're doing hands of going through the storm, and you have to in everything, that's the business. There's some energy, there's a energy, there's going through you just get back up. You just get back up and fall back. So, but that's pretty much it. You just get back up.
Yeah, we had a little.
Yo,
Yeah,
hey,
it looks like the sound of volume was messed up, so sorry about that.
yeah, yeah, that didn't come across well at all.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey,
Some technical
I'll work on
difficulties. It
that.
happens. It's a
my
learning curve,
apologies,
right?
you know, something I need to work on. We miss you, Ed, so.
hey, that needed a vaccine. I'm sorry.
That just goes to show the importance of every man to the team, right? You know, when one person's missing, they're deeply, it impacts the overall product, so. Hey.
Speaking of vaccine, and we're, financial, we try to teach our financial literacy. I hope a lot of people were paying attention to what happened with Kodak today. So.
Here we go. You putting it out there, boy. You throwing out information out there. Remember, you are
winner.
not a financial advisor.
But he's not advising. He's just speaking about news. It was news, right? It was actual news.
Hey, he didn't finish, so I'm just protecting him.
He just said, "Did you see what happened with Kodak?" It's what happened.
I did not say go by. I did not say anything like. All I said was
Kodak Black.
Eyes open. Mm-hmm.
Kodak Black.
Oh no, the wrong Kodak. The real Kodak.
Oh gosh.
The original Kodak. Well, it's like we try to give out information. Hey, you never know. You don't know where that price might go. Heard about it this morning, and the funny thing was when I spread the word to a couple of my friends, one of them was like, "I thought Kodak was out of business." he thought that Kodak shut his doors years ago because a lot of his friends, used to work for Kodak, and then they got unemployed. I mean, they got laid off years ago. So it was wonderful news. See what happened with Kodak, and then Kodak affected another company that, called, okay, I'm
All
not
right,
always buying
Rod.
the
All right,
bad
Rod. All right, Rod. All right, Rod. You're doing too much now. You're doing too much.
Hey, it was exciting. It was an exciting day.
Hey, Rod, you say Kodak or a Kodak?
Oh Lord.
Did you say Kodak or a Kodak?
All right, reel it in. Hey, so
Okay.
Evan, and we have a comment, okay? So Evan
sorry.
said nobody saw 2020. Then he asked, "What's up with the investment property in Jamaica?" He said, "Can you talk on how this is part of the overall plan for founding players?" And then he asked, "Or is it something else? I like the move. I'm telling folks that the time is now to get property and to do business abroad. There's lots of potential there." You guys there?
Well, the thing is, many
I'm here.
times people are afraid to invest, whenever the economy is bad or the news is saying, just like, the stock market, hey, it's bad, it's hurting right now. This is, people, oh my God, don't go in. Or real estate, they're saying the economy is bad. And history has shown whenever something's being reported as bad, many people hesitate to get involved. So.
All right, I'm gonna touch on what Evan asked. Okay, so Evan, to answer your question, again, Savant's Academy has inspired founding players to be able to be teaching financial literacy. Because what I found was I had a lot of struggles building Savant's Academy basketball program over the years. And a lot of times you have great kids or kids that's worked hard to become great, and you don't have the resources, to be able to send them to great tournaments that can get them recognized and get them those scholarships, or just get them noticed. So we weren't able to participate in a lot of great tournaments. Instead, we had to settle for the smaller tournaments because the funds were not there. So what I began to think was, how do I help myself in this organization? So, I said, if we were going to invest, a lot of the funds that's coming in, how can we capitalize on growing these funds? So, I just said, you know what, through founding players, whenever the time is right, I believe investing in a property through Airbnb and people traveling, founding players will be able to use that property to bring funds in to be able to kick back to Savant's Academy, new breed of basketball players. So they could be advertised more, or they could go to the tournaments that the founding players never got the chance to go to. Even though founding players did have success, they could have gone to better tournaments, more advanced tournaments to get more recognized. Kudos to guys like Jacoby. I mean, and Jules and Leonard. I mean, the percentage of these guys that is having an impact and being successful is still wonderful, because the love that I had for them and their families has helped them to know that somebody believed in them. So they're still having the success, even though they could have been to bigger and better tournaments. So congratulations to the success that they're having. But I did not want to relive through the new kids that the funds were not there to be able to go and market yourself on a higher level. So that's how the property came into place and founding player came into place, because I believe that if us, in our board members, which is us, everyone here, was able to put their minds together, we all know somebody. We can all get these grants and we'll be able to help these kids through our investments to be able to go and play these tournaments and market themselves on a higher level. So Evan, that's the reason for getting the property in Jamaica. And one property won't do it, but it's a start for us to be able to help ourselves. You know, now in addition to that, we are going to be working on grants to be able to assist us as well. But that was the main reason for getting the property in Jamaica, to be able, for people to be able to travel. And as you can, if you go on our Airbnb, we explain that, you know, that your stay can help a child's life. I hope I elaborated on that well.
Dope, 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 dope.
Mhm.
Savon, you have one of your founding players on the YouTube right now.
I know.
Xavier.
He's like, I know.
Big shout out to Zay Smith, one of the founding players.
Is Zay like, is Zay a current coach or future coach?
He's a current coach.
Okay. Hey Zay, you working on my videos? I need highlights. Don't forget, I need highlights.
So Evan wants to know if you're looking to duplicate that. I think that's part of the blueprint. But I'll let you go ahead and speak on it.
Yes, Evan, we're definitely looking to duplicate that. Definitely. You know, as I mentioned, we started with one property. You know, this is where guys like yourself come in, guys like Marvin, guys like Rod, is one of the things that I recognized in Savon's Academy was I worked extremely hard to bring in funds. And it's hard for one person to go and get things done for an overall program. So founding players is a collective group of men and women who will contribute to the success of founding players. Now, when founding players is more successful, we can help so many. You know, it takes a group of people. A lot of times it's hard to do something by yourself. You know, take for instance, you live alone and your mortgage is $1,000. You know, you make $4,000 a month. Now I have to pay that $1,000 by myself. Now I have 3,000 left and I have other bills. So let's just say at the end of the month, after receiving your $4,000 a month, your bills are $2,500. Now you have $1,500 remaining that you may have to save, may have to invest, may have to think about your future. So now you bring someone else in the picture as a partner, and your partner makes another $4,000. Now you have $8,000 a month working with someone else to make things a lot easier on yourselves. So to me, doing things alone is always a harder thing to do in life. We come in this world alone, but we are not alone. It takes two. So I am always of the impression that a group of people will more conquer the world than one man or one woman. You know, so I'm excited for the opportunity that we have here to bring us all together to work together for the development of this program and to be able to use the resources and give back.
Very well said, sir. Very well said.
And that was a great question by Mr. Evan. Avon, is it Avante or
It's Evan.
Evan?
You know, we go by a lot of aliases around here.
Yeah,
Except for me, I'm just Marv, you know. Although I do have
Marvin.
aliases. I do have aliases as well, so.
Okay. Well, going back to communication and communicating, you think social media has made us, people or society less communicative or less communication between us? And Now with the COVID on the quarantine, and do you think that has made it worse, with, human interaction?
Oh man, that's a good question. When social media first dropped, I loved it. It's like it was great. It was a great place to express certain things. But now, being that social media has been around for over a decade now, you see the misuse of it, and you see how um, people utilize that format to communicate as opposed to like communicating directly. So, to answer the question, like I think there's more negatives to social media in terms of communicating, effective communication, than there is positives. It's just a really um, it's hard for me to put everything into words, but um, I see a lot of divisiveness that happens with social media, and part of that is you see the same thing with text messaging. There's a loss of feeling to typing out words as opposed to speaking them. How we said words have power, right? But you lose the feeling. You remember we were I was saying earlier how I can say something, I can convey it in a different manner, right? My words, the tone that I speak, right? The way that I relay it. When you're typing characters, you lose all of that. And I think a lot of times that impacts overall effectiveness of communication.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
believe you're right. I believe you're right, Marv. I remember when social media was, it became very important in our lives. And like you, I was excited for it as well, because as you know, we used to sing. And one of the reasons why I loved social media was to be able to have the opportunity to share our music with those who we normally would not be able to share with so easy. To be able to share your music in another country, it was an amazing feeling, but we had a reason, we wanted to make it. I know I wanted to make it so I can impact my family and the people around me, and to be able to have the social media platform and to get your music out there. I was excited about that. But as you said, Marv, it's like the negativity that you saw on social media kind of deviate from the power of social media and how much you can accomplish with the most positive things that you're putting out there. And I saw when negativity was driving it, it began to take a turn for the worse. But there's still a lot of successful people that's capitalizing on it, like ourselves and other people, So I love social media, but it's everything in moderation, So there's good and bad in everything that we do in life. I mean, we live in a world where everyone is not good. So I equal social media to the same thing, So we're in this world and we get to choose what we want to do. We get to choose the people around us, We get to hopefully choose our followers sometimes, Not every time we do, but you know, I guess they got a block button, right? So, but I don't use it very well. Yeah, I don't use my block button very well, But I know a lot of people they like their block button, whether it's WhatsApp or whatever apps they got on their phone. But I don't utilize my block button very well because for one thing about me, I try to treat people how I would like to be treated. So I don't usually have to block anyone. But and because I don't stir up anything with anyone, because I'm not on social media to get people riled up or anything like that. I'm on social media to talk about positive stuff. So I don't I don't believe that I put myself out there like that to receive unwanted attention, So I don't usually have to use no block button or things like that. But as I said, the internet is out there, and I think it's powerful, and I think the world is here and the world is powerful as well, but we just got to choose the things that we do in this world, you know?
No, definitely. Well, like like you stated, I know we started off by saying, it has affected, the human interaction in a negative way, and then some people that love social media, they might take it the wrong way. There's been a lot of positives. It's built a lot of careers, and it has, people have made new friends on social media, but at the same time, you have to remember, I don't care if you got 1 million followers or whatever. Not everybody's your friend. All the likes in the world don't mean everybody's your friend.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And I think that what you said is very very telling. With social media, it's not about communicating, it's about likes. And I think sometimes people misconstrue um, you know, relationships for likes. They'll say things to get more likes or to get people to respond in a certain way. And again, the art of communicating, I think, is lost. People will utilize social media as their journal, which can be very dangerous. Because sometimes you're thinking things, or you might be in a dark place, or you might say something that's you can't really take back once you put it out into the atmosphere on social media.
and
Mhm.
Marvin, you got Evan again. So you want to catch up on that?
Evan got a whole lot of stuff.
I know I got a lost track. Like, where do you start?
All right. So piggybacking to Savon's the founding player stuff. He said, Savon, do you have a thought about creating an investment club to be able to leverage crowdfunding for any specific online courses, programs, tournaments, etc.? And then do you want to answer them one by one, or you want me to just keep going?
Oh no, I'll answer them one by one. What was
All
the
right, well,
first question?
okay. Do you have you thought about creating an investment club to be able to leverage crowdfunding for any specific online programs, courses, or tournaments, etc.?
Well, Evan, no, that's where you come in. So with your expertise, you could definitely help us to accomplish that.
Okay.
Marv, you there?
I'm sorry, I had my mic muted.
Oh.
As for social, said I do not personally use social media and remain committed to dealing with it as a business communication tool, but not as a social tool to interact with family or friends. Um, he says he calls people within his circle, or he swings by when he's in town. Um, and then he also said, yes, it's built a lot of careers, but it has not built deeper connections and more meaningful relationships. I think we're talking about the social media.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a big part of communication in today's reality. That's why a lot of times, some refer to on social media as the matrix, because it has turned into some people's reality when their reality is going down, like reality doesn't even exist in their life, where social media becomes like their life. Sometimes I wonder, like I've talked to different females. They've stated to me when they go on dates now, and I've seen it with my own eyes, where you see a couple, they'll be together or somebody in a date, and they're both on their phone. I'm like, how is that a date? When they're at the dinner table and everybody's on their phone. You see that with families, even though they might be at the dinner table, they're not really there.
Yeah.
They're not there mentally. I've seen, I was on a date one time, and that was when Instagram first came out. Beautiful, young lady. We're talking, we're communicating the whole time. She's giggling, this and that, checking up her status and everything. And I asked her, I was like, we're on a date, right? She was like, oh, no, my friends, this. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, what do you, I kind of figure, what was more important to her. And talking to a lot of females now, they tell me now when they date somebody, or when they're on a date, it seems like the guy, or, vice versa, the person they're on a date with, doesn't know how to communicate. It's almost like they would rather text. When it comes time to text, they'll text all day, every day. But when it comes to like phone conversation, they have no personality. I'm like, oh, and that's where, social media comes into play. People feel more comfortable behind the keyboard
Absolutely.
than they are in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So I think it's definitely hurting us as human beings, because human beings, we kind of like, we're social creatures, so now you have social distancing come into play, and I'm like, we're headed down a bad road. I don't like it. I definitely don't like it,
Hey, I mean, we don't like it, but hey, this situation right here what's happening right now, we don't like it. But in this world that we live in, we have to tackle the things that happens. So there's good and bad in everything, so we gotta pick each other brain, help each other. And as we're talking about communication, we gotta be there for each other to lift each other up in good and bad times, So
and
with all the negativity that happens, we gotta find positivity, and as I said, I always use this. I said, if you are surfing and the wave is coming, you're not going to let the wave come up on you. You have to start moving that surfboard and catch the wave. So while this thing is happening right now, we have things in place and we're doing things to be able to catch the wave. That way we can come out of this thing running, which is what we're doing right now. So I appreciate the obstacles that's in our way. That way we can overcome them. We can use our strength and overcome them, because when you're building a house, you always start with the floor. You can't jump to the top. It's going to be a hard road to the top, because the floor ain't going to be so easy to build. So just like any relationship, you meet somebody for the first time and you really don't know them that well. The goal is to try and get to know each other, before you get too deep. So those are obstacles. Time is precious, man. That's why I always say every second, every minute, every hour matters. I know communication is our topic today, and I know you guys know that, especially you, Rod. I drive a hard bargain, man. I'm tough. Some people may not like it, but it is what it is. I wasn't put here on earth, to make everything easy for everyone. There's going to be some obstacles, and if whatever is hard, I'm trying to tell you, don't go down that hard road. Take this easier road, because you can kind of like avoid that road right there. Then I have the blueprint, and I believe my experience brought me through the struggles. So when I have the blueprint to take a different road, I'm gonna be stubborn about that, because I traveled that road before, but some people may not communicate well with the way that I'm putting it out there to them, and I think the importance is you have to listen to each other. You have to. Communication.
And you did say something about reaching out, especially what's going on right now. And one of the positives I saw that was trending when we first, were quarantined, was people's, kind of, posting, to reach out to loved ones, because a lot of times, we think everything's okay, this and that, and then there was another part where a lot of the elderly, now they had less people, coming around, because everybody's quarantined. They're like, hey, check on the elderly, this and that, check up on your loved ones, because now we're quarantined. Now you're really not gonna hear from anybody,
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, we gotta roll with the punches. If things are changing in the society, we just have to learn how to maneuver with it. But I know, humans are creatures of it, so this is, social distancing. And how do we survive? We survive by communicating with each other. How does a man, approach a woman? Now you have social distancing. You're like, how do you approach a woman with this COVID now? So We're like living in a, in a weird, I call it the Twilight Zone. Things are very different now.
Yeah, man. Everybody's covered up right now. It's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, you don't know what she looked like. She got the mask on.
They even got it as style now, man. Kind of weird.
Hey, you know how we do. And in America, it's funny, they had the mask of, in Asia. And I picked up on that. And as soon as we had to start wearing the mask, we had like 1,000 different styles, 1,000 different brands, that we came up with. So it just shows how, how creative we are, in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then now they've been coming out with the see-through mask. And I think I saw that in the news. No, I saw that in an article yesterday. I was doing some research. I was like, whoa, now they're pushing for the see-through mask. So
yeah. Well, we have some comments here. So Zero Z said, Instagram is the place to go when you need to free your mind at times and take a break from everyday activity. And then he said, I don't know if he or she, Zero Z, went on to say a lot of people are antisocial and social media is their avenue to express themselves. So, so that's a different take on kind of what we were talking about.
facts.
Evan also chimed in, and he said that fellas ain't got game no more. You learn to talk to one another by really talking to one another. So the art of communicating is becoming a lost art, I guess is what he's trying to say. The higher you want to build a building, the deeper you must go into the foundation. Look at that. It's a nice play on the whole founding players thing. And then Zero Z also chimed in and said, Savant, you don't need to know someone if you want to just have fun. Go ahead, Rod.
Wait, hold on. Go back.
No,
go back
what I was gonna say.
Hold on, Rod. Go back to the first, the second question Zero Z asked, the one that says a lot of people, whatever, social media. Read that one again.
A lot of people are antisocial, and social media is their avenue to express themselves.
Well, to elaborate on that, a lot of people are antisocial or not social. Well, we can't, that's a broad statement, because I wouldn't say we label that a lot of people are not sociable. I mean, social media, just because it's called social media doesn't mean that just because you don't socialize, otherwise you're supposed to come on here just to socialize. That's not what it's for. You could build business on social media. It's not just a social platform. It's an opportunity to grow in many ways. And if you're not doing something constructive on it, you're wasting time. So why come on a platform to waste time? This platform is not to waste time. It's to do some constructive stuff that's going to benefit you in the short or long run. Social media is not just for fun. Life is not just fun. There is seriousness in life. There's a time and place for everything. And if you are finding time to do some unconstructive things, then you are wasting precious second, minute, and hours of every day that God gave to us. So are we here to waste time, or are we here to do constructive stuff? Because any other thing that you're doing that's not constructive is a waste of time. That's not what social media is for. It's for people to have success. If you want to go and socialize, go and do that by yourself with a few friends. Start your own page. Because you could do that.
True. Very true. I remember when Facebook first came out.
Hold on. Sorry. What Marvin? What you gonna say, Marv?
No, it's good. I think I have a delay on my internet was unstable. So go ahead, Rod.
No, I remember when our Facebook first came out, there was a report that came out. I don't know if it was a survey that Facebook was destroying a lot of marriages. So, and then now I think it has gotten worse where now they're saying social media has have people believing that, you know, they don't need anybody. It's almost like if you know, a couple that's dating or you know, married, now they think, you know, it's easier to find somebody because they have all these dating sites instead of them, you know, working things through, communicating. They rather just, you know, end it right there and just go, okay, I'm gonna go to these dating sites and I find somebody, because now they're saying people are, relationships are not even lasting, you know, like 5 years or even 3 years. You know, more people are single now, and there's more divorces are at a high rate. I remember one time I was driving in New York City. I kept on seeing these billboards, you know, for divorce lawyers. I ain't never seen that in my life. Almost every 5 miles, every billboard, hey, divorce lawyer. I was like, what? Must be divorce, you know, lawyer boards.
Yeah.
So it has created a problem in today's society. And oh yeah, so I'll save the next one for. So what do you guys think about that? Because I had another thing I wanted to add.
Well,
I think it
okay, go
plays.
ahead.
I think it plays on what I was saying earlier about emotional maturity, right? When you don't have the maturity to have those hard conversations, this is what happens. You have a breakdown in communication. When you no longer can communicate, things don't get resolved, and so things that probably could be resolved with conversations end up, you hold animosity and resentment.
Mhm.
You want to add to that, Savon?
Well, all of the problems that we're having in relation, well, majority, let me not say all, majority of the problems that we're having in relationships that we're seeing actually in relationships goes back to what Zero Z had mentioned.
No, but you can go put your
When
pajamas on and go to bed.
when you're saying that social media is a platform to get away and kind of like just wing it. That's basically what that is. You know, that's where you begin to make a lot of mistakes on social media, you know, and lose yourself. So when you begin to lose yourself on social media, now let's just say you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or just a relationship with someone. They're asking for your time, but you're giving your time to social media. And like we said, if you're not communicating with straight words and you're just writing them out, then you are losing yourself in social media. And then we are taking the precious time away from the person that you're with to go and give that time on social media to someone or persons that you are not normally going to see. So that become a problem to your relationship because you are not giving that needed attention to that person that you're with, because social media has become a platform where you can now go and put your time into instead of putting that time into your relationship. And I believe that's very devastating to a lot of relationships. A lot of people are spending too much time on social media and it is causing a problem. And everyone is winging it now and having fun while their relationships are being ruined. And let me not say everyone, I'll take that back, majority.
Savon, do you think we should save that as a subject for one of our shows?
Sure. But you know, we're talking about
Because
communication.
you made a very. No, well, I think it's really affect. So, like you just said something very significant, that people spend so much time on social media having fun while their relationship is dying, even in relationship with their children. Not even watching what the children are watching, or you know, are their children like really learning in school? Are they being raised properly? Do they have the right, you know, are they hanging out with the right people? Because like Marvin said earlier, people are put more stock into likes than reality. You know, like likes, you know, it's just somebody just clicking a button. It's so bad that you got people purchasing likes. So That's where we are.
Yeah.
A lot, but the YouTube comments is lighting up over there. They're having a pretty in-depth conversation over there. They're going
Who,
in.
who
But
is?
What do you see?
Zay, well, Zero Z, Zay, and Evan. But Zay asked the question. He said, would you delete social media for a healthy relationship?
Well, I'll answer that first. I'll be the first one to answer that. I'll be the first one to answer that. Me personally, as I mentioned before, I like the internet for the mere fact that I can promote whatever I start on it. I can relay positive message. I can begin to help a lot of people because I'm a helpful person. So I like social media to be able to reach people that you wouldn't normally reach. So to delete it, no, I wouldn't be one of those people to say, hey, I'm going to delete social media. But I'm one of those people that's going to say everything with moderation. And that to me sums it up.
Okay.
I think in the way that Zay asked the question, if it was like a relationship or social media, I would say goodbye to social media in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
An ultimatum. An
Oh,
ultimatum.
that's what you mean. If you had a choice.
Heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I think for right now, I'm actually social media out. Just with all the stuff that's been going on in the world, all the divisiveness, the hate, just the politics. I'm ready to just tune out of social media. I need social media for my business. And that's really the main thing that I've actually been posting on lately. I might post a funny meme here or there, but really it's been about my business. And I think if it wasn't for that, I probably would have deactivated my accounts a while ago.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask this question. If what percentage of people would choose if they could either choose between finding true love or gaining 1 million followers? How which side do you think people would choose in today's world? Having a million followers versus finding true love?
Well, I mean,
what percentage of people you think would choose 1 million people? I mean, 1 million followers, or how many people you think would choose finding true love?
well, based off of what I'm seeing right now, I would say, I would have to go with young versus more mature.
Okay.
I would have to say in the young people department, I would say 70% will choose
1 million followers.
the 1 million followers because they believe that
they got time.
Yeah. And when it comes to the more mature, I would say 30% would choose that. Because 30% may be spending time having kids and trying to be like them.
Hey, Marvin, you knew that was coming, right?
Exactly.
You knew that was coming.
Savan, Zero Z got a question for you. You ready?
Go ahead.
All right. Do you think social media can bridge the gap in a long distance relationship?
Do I think it can bridge the gap?
Yeah.
Honestly, that question, I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you. Bridge the gap. I mean, a long distance relationship, it don't have to remain long if the two people are serious about the relationship. So it's a weird question, but if I was to answer it, I would say, like I'm saying right now, that the only way to bridge the gap is for the two people to be serious about what they're doing within that relationship and to be able to take that relationship to a higher level. is a
So
long
when we're
distance.
saying social media, are we including like WhatsApp, like
Oh, no, yeah,
Messenger,
they're
like
all in it. They're all
okay,
embedded together.
okay.
So Facebook, they're
Huh?
all together.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just asking because I know like when I was in Japan last year, we used a lot of WhatsApp and Messenger to communicate,
Well,
because
let's leave the business
it's
side of it out of it. No,
international.
let's leave. No, the thing is, let's leave. We don't want people to get it misconstrued that we're saying if you have a business to run or you're hurting your family by being a no. We're not talking about like people that's on there running a business. That's different. We're talking about like
No,
the everyday.
I'm using it in an example of that was at that point that was a long distance relationship, right?
Oh no, that's
I
different.
was out of the country, right? So, but it's social media was essential in order for me to communicate with my wife and my family.
Mm-hmm. No, we're talking about like the everyday person might be involved in a relationship or trying to find somebody this and that, but their whole time is spent like someone said earlier, winging it or just having fun. You have people in their 30s, having fun, trying to focus on their followers, how many followers they have and their likes. And then later on, you find out behind closed doors they're not happy, and because they don't really have anything really going on in their real life or have a relationship. Because think about this: you have some people on social media where you don't even know they're in a relationship, and you're sitting there like, hey, I see beautiful women all the time. Like, does she have somebody? What's going on here? And then next, she's on, in labor. You're like, hold on, she was available. Where's the guy? And after labor, it's like, where's the guy? It's like, it's kind of like now you're like asking questions like, what's going on here? It's like we're living
I
like
will say,
this lifestyle. Mm-hmm.
now I will say, you can tell a lot by somebody's social media, whether they're in a relationship,
So the
not in a
Marvin just
relationship,
breeze.
fighting, whatever's going on. I mean, like there's certain people I can look at their social media and I can tell what's going. Oh, she just broke up with her boyfriend. Oh, so you can see because it's a diary. It's literally a video diary. So
And that's the thing. Too many people, as I say, go back to the young versus the more mature. A lot of younger people, 70%, like I said, I believe that's my take, from what I see, like what you see, Marv. 70% of them are putting their information on social media, and you can see what they're going through throughout the day, and 70% of them are spending a lot of times going to parties and only thinking about today, and when you do stuff like that, now when COVID hits and everything is lost, now you realize, where do I find the money to go do that? I didn't have anything saved up. So now you're living in the moment. Doesn't matter at this moment, because at the end of the day, if you're not planning for your future and you're living for now, why are you living? Why would you be living? Like, what is your point on earth? If you could get up today and say, today I'm going to live it up, and you die, who benefits from that? When you were alive, you benefited. What if you lived for the next day and you gave away everything you had? Now you have nothing for the next day. So this is what this COVID situation remind me of. You're sitting there partying your life away, doing things that's not constructive, messing up your relationship that you may be in, that you're not taking serious enough. You're not even planning to get ahead. It's all about fun, and years later, you're in that same position, and that's how I kind of like see when people aren't communicating and they're just winging it. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping yourself at all.
Recently, somebody told me a story where what I'm about to say, if you're running a business, you got all these followers, training, whatever, you're making a profit off of social media. This is not for you. We get it. You need to be on there running your business, but this is more towards people where their whole focus is like likes and trying to get that 50 or 100,000 followers. He was telling me a story about this young lady that he was friends with, beautiful, had 100,000 followers, this and that, and it's like her followers were trying to be like her, trying to like reach, her status, not realizing this girl was, she was miserable. Didn't have a dollar to her name, and he had to help her out. It's almost like, I just say trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mhm.
You're saying, relationship status, not understanding, what they're going through. Like, you want that status of that person that has like 100,000 followers, not realizing that person is miserable in their own, in their reality. So you have to be careful, wishing, on something that you have no clue about what that person, life is really, really like. Because,
Mhm.
everybody's gonna put on a happy face on social media. It's like, just like, reality shows are scripted. A lot of people don't even keep forgetting that. Reality shows are scripted. So
We got a couple more comments here, and then I don't know if you want to run to a commercial. So let me. You want to
no
do a couple?
no commercials.
No
No,
commercials.
Rod, no commercial right now. Let's get at Evan. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. So let's start with Evan. Evan got about 3 of them.
All right. So social. Well, it's more of a comment. It's more comments.
Yeah, read it out.
So it says social media is only a business tool. 1 million followers don't mean anything. Oh, whoa. Somebody made more comments. 1 million followers don't mean anything. YouTube came out with COPPA and basically killed most people's revenues on YouTube. He then went on to say Google changes their algorithms all the time, and that hurts any SEO efforts that you're working on. Twitter and Facebook can delete accounts in a heartbeat if you violate one of their many rules they have. What happens to your online relationships and followers when that happens? So then zero Z said, do you think
Before you touch on 0Z, let's answer Evan first. Let's speak on Evan. That way you're not running through all of them at the same time. Because then after 0Z, then Evan got 2 more questions. I mean, 2 more statements or questions. So let's address what he said.
We just need to get them the Zoom link and have them log on, boy, because they having a whole heated discussion up on here. But go ahead.
But the thing is, Marv, we need people out there to be able to communicate in the YouTube. So
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead, brother.
No, so who want to touch on what Evan is saying in his first 3 comments? Rod? Marv?
Well, I mean, what he said is factual. I mean, just dealing with these social media platforms, everything's always changing, right? SEOs, trying to figure out the algorithms. They're always devising and changing up things. So, what he said is very valid. And then he spoke to, I guess, one of 0Z's things, talking about the relationships. You can't have an online relationship if you don't have an online account, right? So if you do one of the many rules, many things that violate, Facebook rules or Twitter rules, and you get kicked off, then you lose that whole mode of communication.
Okay, it's very odd about like pertaining to like dating, dating sites, not social media, but it seems that the more dating sites we have, the less relationships. And I'm like, shouldn't it be the other way? Should it not be the other way around? More people should be in relationships.
There are people that have gotten married as a result of being on dating sites.
Okay,
no,
but at the end of the day, as I said before, I don't have anything. I'm not one of those people that have anything against social media. I believe, improvement in this world is needed, but I think you have to weigh the options. You have to understand what is good and what is bad, so at the end of the day, they can develop something new, that I may not participate in, but they develop something else new that I may participate in. So we all have choices to make, but the more we make better choices, the better results that we're going to receive, while being on Earth, and that's just the fact of the matter, so social media, it's a platform, just like we have our platform right here, and we choose different topics. you can go on social media with different topics that you want to address, each people to their own lane. But at the end of the day, you choose which lane you want to get in. When I'm driving my car down the highway, there's a slow lane, there's a medium lane, and there's a fast lane. Which one do I want to go in? Or do I
Not in
want to
Florida. Not in South Florida. Not in South Florida. Every lane is the fast lane.
You really had to go there, Mark?
I'm just saying.
He changed the whole subject on you.
I lived there for a couple of years. Every lane is the fast lane in Florida.
You had to go there? You had to go there? All right.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, ask Zero Z, the first question Zero Z mentioned about, do you think communication via, read that one.
Repeat that. Communication.
How you gonna read half the question and then tell me to read it?
Because I like when you read it so I can answer it. Work with me.
Yeah, work with him, man.
Do you think communicating via social media while in a long distance relationship can stop your significant other from cheating on you?
What?
All right. Well, to answer that, you can't stop anyone from doing anything that they want to do. Now, the choices that that person makes can either affect the relationship that they're in, or they could say, you know what? If I don't want certain things to affect my relationship, then I have to do the right thing for that relationship. So the choice is definitely that person's, are those two people, whether they want to make a certain choice affect them or not.
Straight to the point. Ooh, I like that. Straight to the point. Earlier when you said how does social media affect people or whatever, when you said social media and then pause, I thought you were gonna pull like a Rick James and be like, social media is a hell of a drug.
It is. It actually is. Very addictive. Very addictive. It's you'd be surprised how many times you pick up your phone, and just look at social media for whatever reason. And it's you don't realize how ineffective you can become with too much social media.
I'm gonna say something that might piss off a lot of women.
Well, I'm gonna hope you don't. Hope you don't piss them off too much.
Just women.
I know it's something that over the years, I think went from trying to impress the man to it turning into a competition between women. I'm like, to me, I'm looking like I could have sworn that was for us now it turned into like between women, where oh man, I'm afraid to say it now. Oh, that's why I see Marvin turn. Marvin just logged off.
Hey, we ain't trying to get you to say things to women to have them be offended.
I'm here.
Okay, this is for the women out there. Over the years, as a man, men like for the women to look good because that's how we are attracted to you. So it's the way of life. But for some odd reason, it seems that it has turned to where women are working on the work that they do to their body parts, that I think it's gotten out of control, and I think it has gone from impressing us to becoming a competition between women, and I think it's not healthy. And the communication part comes in where I think before you guys do some of the stuff you guys are doing, you should ask a male friend, or you could DM me, ask me, do I need to know to your life? I'm like, no, it looks fine. You look good. You don't have to, because I think the women are going overboard with with the surgery, like some of the stuff that they're doing. So that's why I said some might be mad, like, what is he talking about? I get it. But at the same time, I feel like it has gone from impressing us to competing with other women. I know women compete with other women to get men, but at the same time, I think we're not in the conversation anymore. I think it's gone, above and beyond, what women used to do.
Comments and statements said by Rod do not reflect the values of this show. And
That's why I said it could DM me personally. Like, cause I feel like some of the stuff this guy's gone overboard. Like, oh, what's going on here? And I don't think they're doing it for us men. I'm like, yo, are you guys in competition with each other? Or are you doing it
Oh,
for
I'm
us?
frozen.
Well, since you went there, I'm gonna go somewhere.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Is it that time of the night where we start getting the bad jokes?
I did not get off subject. It's still in line with communication, you know.
No, we didn't say you got off subject, but I said since you went there, I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm just trying to rhyme on time and not commit no crime because I'm in my prime.
Lot of mercy. Lot of mercy.
And I just said a bunch of
You're
rhymes.
determined. Did someone just save me? Did he just save me?
Now the talking is my time.
He's lyrically blessed right now.
Okay.
Bars.
Yeah, I come with the bars. I don't come with wars. And you say Florida, all the lanes are fast while I drive my cars because I got bars. All right, back to the show. So, okay, on the line of what you were talking about.
Zay said, "Bomba clot."
Hey, you see, Zay. Hey, oh, you know what? Zay kind of sees. I think Zay sees what I'm seeing.
All right. So on the line of what you were saying, Rod, you know, me, you know, all of us being on social media and seeing social media, are me and Marv being part of music, you know, and having music as our background and just loving music in general, you know, and seeing how a lot of the audience on the internet or just in the world, when it comes to superstars, they're more modeling their lives off of superstars that they're seeing and trying to do the things that they see superstars are doing. So I believe a lot of people is being influenced by what they see on television or what they see when they go out into the world, you know, and they're mimicking all of these things that they're seeing. And I think that creates a problem in a lot of relationships, and more so for the person on their personal life, to be trying to put your life together based off of somebody else that you see. For instance, a rapper. Just imagine a rapper is doing his thing. That's what he does. And you're being influenced by what that person is doing, and you're doing it yourself. And that's what I see happening, why a lot of relationships are not where they're supposed to be, because there's too many people trying to be like someone else or follow a crowd and presenting themselves that way that that person nationally presents themselves. And I think it's not an effective way to build a relationship, to pretend that you are someone else. You guys are there?
I'm weird.
Yeah, no, listening.
Oh,
All right.
that's what I see. Just a
All
lot
right.
of followers.
Evan said, if you're running a business, you still find your own platform before relying too much on social media. Social media should support your business, but refrain from it being the business. The mistake some people make. And then he says, you have to find a way to deal with it in a balanced way, but never rely on social media. Don't lose yourself to it. And then I think Xavier was speaking on what you were saying, Rod, and he was saying that Nikki made it a trend.
Well, ladies, before anybody turned on me, somebody just stated that the women turned on me. I love everyone, and at the same time, some of it is a health risk, and we do know of some people have actually lost their life during those procedures, and and I did say that I think you should probably talk to ask friends or family, a male friend. You could DM me again. ask for, our opinion before you go under the knife, because I've noticed some people that have gotten work done that didn't even need to work. So, or have gone way overboard with it. So ladies, you're beautiful. So trust me, I think a lot of it has turned into competition instead of like working on yourself. And the thing is, no matter how much work you do, I think sometimes I notice more work is being focused on the body than the mind or the soul. So, and then a lot of times they kind of wonder like, oh, ask yourself, how come all these reality TV women, they're beautiful, how come they can't keep a man? And maybe Evan would say they need to learn how to cook that legume, but but ladies, try to work on yourself internally. Guys also work on yourself, not just the outer self. But hey, I was not trying to be neat. It's just something that I have noticed. I think that's out of control.
All right, Rod, I see Marvin didn't want to read the last time I asked him to read, so I'll read this one because I like what Evan said right here. Evan said, Evan, what's funny? All right, Evan said, IG, Facebook, YT have changed the game. Oh, that moved on me. Have changed the game, and some women want to look like what they see on social media. The influence is real, and that's like what I was talking about. The influence is definitely real, because that's the thing that I see the most on social media is just everyone looks so much alike. It's like, how do you differentiate? It's like all look so much like each other and doing the same thing. There's nothing being presented differently, and it's all due to social media. When you see so much of that going on, the presentation is just not there. Which, I mean, speaking for myself, which makes a lot of guys not really that interested, and will play the game as well. Because if you have, a lot of men and women playing games, how do you when are you going to get serious about anything? And it's due to social media and so many people finding time on it to go and just follow, because think about it, followers, man, I don't even worry about followers, man. As Evan said, as Evan said, if you have a business, it's not about followers on social media. It's about getting the people that is going to help your business to have a success, marketing it the right way, face to face. Let's take my program, for instance, where I've been helping kids for years. I've been effective in helping children because I'm in people's face marketing. And when they see me in the community marketing what I do, they come and they want to participate. They want to be in the program. Because like Marv said, in a relationship, you have to speak directly. Speaking by email and social media is not the best and effective way of communicating.
Yep. And I'm gonna say something that might get them mad again. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with founding players. This is my personal opinion, talking to a lot of male friends.
But you're on founding players saying it, so it becomes our responsibility.
This is not a conversation that happens between closed doors with founding players. This is other
on founding players platform, so it becomes on social. Yeah, and it was said by founding. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. It is what it is.
Here's the thing: we have the youth coming up. They will ask us, relationship, questions. A lot of times, women, they'll get mad and say, "Oh, he just wanted me for my body." The thing is, if that's what you're focused on and showing off, and there's no communication when you guys, meet or are dating, whose fault is that? I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying it's both parties' fault. But at the same time, many times, us men, we talk like, okay, they'll say, we just want them for their body, but 80% of the time when you go on social media, what are we seeing? And what are you focusing on? Like, in a lot of times, you know, you're talking about how come relationships are not lasting, and what we've been talking about, communication. You know, there's not enough communication between, you know, individuals. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I mean, it wasn't so bad. You made it like you were about to go left field or something. It wasn't so bad. I mean,
no, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. Some people might take it the wrong way, you know, like, oh, we're trying to say that's what guys want.
Well,
No.
well, we're talking about communication.
We want to
And
communicate also. Just want to talk.
You know, we're talking about communication. So it's not everything that we all say is going to be, you know, correct. You know, so we're not no perfect human beings. You know, so communication is about, you know, speaking your mind. As long as you're not offending anyone, you know, and you're giving your opinion and you're not taking it to a level where you're disrespecting someone, then, you know, it's a form of communication. Now, Rod, your thing keep pausing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Your thing be
Yo,
pausing.
Is it me?
so yeah, I think we
I
had
wonder why it's doing that.
we had a great conversation this evening. I'm about to social media with my wife though. I gotta meet her on Twitter.
Okay.
He say you gotta meet her on Twitter.
I'm about to social media
We
my
never said it was
my
a bad thing. So
I'm about to social media my whole evening escapade. So tune into my Facebook page if you want to play by play.
Hey,
I'm messing around.
nah. What you gotta say is, you know, you're about to go into the house. You're about to get off social media. You're about to be in the house with your wife, and then you're about to go do your manly duties, and you're gonna chill with your children.
We're
and
gonna
you're gonna
we're gonna lay in the bed and I'm gonna be on my phone texting her.
You really no, Marv. No, you can't be next to her texting her. No,
Is that-
you be talking to her.
We can't do that.
No.
Yeah, it's easier for me to write my feelings.
No, it's actually easier to just communicate it right there.
Oh man. Yo,
Yes,
listen,
sir.
it was a great conversation. I don't know if you guys are gonna continue when I log off, but it was a great convo.
Well,
And
I think
great
we're gonna.
participation.
I know, right? I think we're gonna wrap it up, man.
But
Evan, are you still out there?
there are some comments up here. I guess we'll read them before we end off. I'll let you and Rod end the show. But let me see. Let me go back here. Evan said, Rod, I feel you. You're coming from a pure and deeply concerned place. Some women are not that deep, my friend. Very superficial. And then he agreed. Evan agreed with some of what you were saying. He said, Savon, you're 100% correct.
hey, don't read what I wrote. I mean what I typed.
And Evan said he has to step away too. He said the wife wants some real FaceTime with him. So there you go. FaceTime. That's another play on social media. Boom.
Yes, Evan, appreciate the time that you took, you know, to communicate with us, you know, in our chat. You know, sometimes you're in the chat, sometimes you're in the studio. So we appreciate you, man. And people like yourself, you're able to help us as well as help others. So you continue to share your information with us, man, because we appreciate you and we want to be better here on this platform, and we want to bring like-minded people on so they could be better as well. So thank you for coming and joining us. Thanks to you, Marv, you know, thanks to you, Rod. Thanks for all of you guys understanding that we all can improve, you know, and God give us this precious life, and we're able to reflect on things that we have done in the past and make changes that needs to be made, you know, because we live and we learn. So thank you guys for being friends. You know, thanks to the audience for, you know, tuning in and being part of this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And big ups to my brother B. Eddie B, we missed you, man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. And yeah, this was a wonderful show, man.
Man, I didn't think we'd be on this long, but we kept it going. Probably still could have kept it going another hour if I didn't say I had to go.
Yeah, right. And let's tune in again on Friday. That's our next time, man. You know, tune in on Friday, man. So we can
Yes,
continue
sir.
to have different discussions. You know, I think this brings us together as well as bring other people together. You know, we can't please everyone, you know, but we could try and help majority. And as we're helping majority, guess what? We
Okay,
receive
so
help as well.
okay, so Friday's subject will be is the lost have we lost the art of cooking? So
Ooh.
I guess he put it out there, Marvin, right? Live.
I might not be on that show.
I'm just saying, he put it out there live and direct.
My wife cooked for me.
no, that was from Evan. He wrote that. He said because he had brought up the legume, so that's from Evan. I'm gonna put that one on Evan.
How to cook. My wife's American and she can cook Haitian food, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I said the lost art. I didn't say anybody in particular. I said the loss of lost art of cooking.
I'm just throwing it out there. I got the best of both worlds. I got the Southern soul food and the Haitian food, all in one. Huh?
Dude, that's the wife. You're supposed to.
Hey, she makes it happen. It goes down.
Yeah. Hey, one last statement I want to make. I see Evan wrote a few things, you know. He said, thanks, Savon, great platform, and this needs to continue. And definitely, Evan, and me, you, Marv, Rod, and Ed, you know, we've been great friends for years, man. So, you know, it takes us to be able to reach others. We all have information to share that will help others, man. You know, I mean, look at the information that you put in the chat. We appreciate it, man. Much appreciated, man. Look at Marv and myself and Rod in the studio, you know, having great communication about communication. So, you know, this is very, very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Oh.
All right, so Marvin, go run and enjoy the wife.
All right.
You're my idol, you know.
I'm out. I got my
All
wife
right,
is waiting for me.
Yeah.
Evan,
all
thank
right.
you.
Just say, you know, say bye
And
to our
0Z?
platform. Huh?
Yeah, 0Z was coming for you tonight, Savon.
Yeah, that was weird. What was that about?
Hey. Hey. Hey.
That's why you can say A. We just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it at A. Zay, thank you for participating.
Dance? Is that a song?
Huh?
Evan, thanks for participating.
Hey, that's something my basketball players be saying all the time when they score. Hey, hey.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
You saw that, right?
All right, guys.
Catch you on
yeah,
Friday.
When that kid dunked and they all were like, "Hey!"
Oh,
like, okay.
Where's the new Jacoby video? You didn't?
It's on the social.
No, it's on IG. It's on our platform.
Okay, my bad.
Marv, after he dunks, say, "Hey."
I'm about to say, "Hey" when I roll out of here. Hey.
Yeah, all right. Evan and everyone.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Hey.
Great show. All right, I'm about to turn it off, man. I'm about to cut it off.
All right. I didn't even eat nothing, so I'm about to go eat something. But that was good, man. That was definitely good.